Hi, everyone. Welcome to the first Pubtalk after BBC 2015. Now, I don't know if you've all seen this, but BBC had a great turnout, and every one of the finalists received investment. There was an investment of 877,500, however you say that, 877,500.00. Just want to make sure you're with me here. So that's pretty awesome. And I told you I would start with a story, so I wanted to tell you tonight that last Sunday in The New Yorker, there was a conversation transcribed between Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Gloria Steinem. And for those of you that don't know, Ruth Bader Ginsburg actually has a rap name. It's Notorious RBG. And she has a following. There's T-shirts and everything. It's kind of interesting. You know, it's not what you would normally associate with a justice. So she said to Gloria Steinem, so I have this rap name, and you could have one too. In fact, before we got together to talk, I looked it up because there's an auto rap name generator online. You know, some entrepreneur was sitting around saying, everybody should have a rap name. She said, yeah, really? Well, what is mine? And Ruth Bader Ginsburg said to Gloria Steinem, Glow Stick. So I got really curious about this. And being a curious person with a high level of intellectual curiosity, at 11 o'clock at night when I was working, I decided I should look up my rap name. So my rap name is Royal Julie. Welcome to my house. So I want to thank our title sponsors, Carnot Peterson, Columbia Bank, and Bed Broadband Business. Our supporting sponsors, Jones & Roth CPAs, Central Oregon Realtors Association, COCC, Small Business Development Center, OSU Cascades, and Zolo Media. And I'd like to now introduce John Napier from Carnot Peterson.
Thank you, Julie. As Julie mentioned, my name's John Napier. I'm a partner at the Carnot Peterson Law Firm here in town, where I chair our business law department and co-chair our ETIP practice group. And for those who have been here before, you know ETIP is short for Emerging Business, Technology, and Intellectual Property. So my message tonight is very simple. At Carnot Peterson, we like sponsoring Pubtalk and helping EDCO, and are glad you can join us tonight. And I have a very quick quiz. Who in the audience, by show of hands, has heard of the Oregon Paid Sick Leave Law? Anybody? Okay, a few. So we have a well-informed audience, and it's a new law going into effect on January 1, and we thought it would be a good topic for one of our employment law seminars. And we were right. The first seminar sold out in about 2 days, so we thought, let's do another one. That one sold out in about 2 days, and just yesterday we decided to do a third repeat, and as of 3 o'clock today, there are only 3 seats left. So this is an interesting topic to business owners, and I thought it might be of interest to the group. And so I'm going to share just a few comments and updates on the law, and before I do that, I want to preface my comments to say that they are not reflective of the social policy behind the law, or whether it's a good idea or a bad idea. I'm just offering my input as an attorney on how the law is written. So if we're all clear on that, the law is a mess. And it's complicated. And I have a copy of it here. It's about 10 pages, single-spaced, very tiny font. And we're already finding contradictions. And by my count, there are 4 definitions in the law for the word employer. This is a lawyer's playground. I'm so excited about this. And the law also applies differently based on where you're located in Oregon. So it's a very complex thing that's coming down the pike in about 6 weeks. And another thing, the Oregon Paid Sick Leave Law, as it's commonly known, is a misnomer. Okay, it requires paid sick leave if you have 10 or more employees, or 6 or more if you are located or have a location in Portland. But if you have fewer employees than that, you still have to provide unpaid sick leave to your employees. So to rephrase, even if you don't have to provide paid sick leave, if you have even just one employee, the law mandates that you provide unpaid sick leave to those employees. So it does affect literally every employer in the state. And it's also broader than just sick leave. The leave under the law may be used for any purpose covered by the Oregon Family Leave Act, including personal leave and bereavement. So if you just go by the name of the law, you're going to get tripped up because it has all sorts of whens and curves in it. So, and also employers are going to be required to provide quarterly notice to their employees. Even if you have one employee, for entrepreneurs, you're going to have to give that employee notice at least quarterly of how much leave they have left to them. So there's a lot of implications. I just want to wrap up by offering some thoughts on what you should do. Of course, if you can, attend our seminar on December 11th. And I'm not going to promise to do a fourth repeat, but if there's interest remaining and people that can't get in, we're looking at doing a webcast or something like that just to get the word out. Secondly, talk to your employment law attorney. Thirdly and finally, and I'm sure everyone can see this coming, if you don't have an employment law attorney, please consider talking to me or my partner, Kurt Barker. We would be happy to fill you in. And with that, I just want to thank you again for coming tonight, and please enjoy your evening.
That was just awesome. Thank you. Carnot Peterson is a sponsor for Cascade Angels as well, and I appreciate John and team's support on that effort. So Corey Allen from Columbia Bank.
Hey, so I'm the guest speaker tonight. I'm going to be up here for a while. Get comfortable, grab a drink. No, my name's Corey, as Julie mentioned. I work with Columbia Bank. I'm the manager of the commercial bank local team here. We work business lines, loans, lines of credit, term loans, all that kind of good stuff for financing. But actually, I wanted to tell you a little story. I was kind of excited. I decided to take a big step in my professional career, and I was going to go get a suit professionally tailored. I'd never done this before, so I'm going to the tailor, I get all my measurements and do all this good stuff and everything. He's like, okay, come back and we'll have it all ready for you. So I show up a few days later, trying everything on. I put the pants on and I go to put my pockets in my pants, and I said, hey, it's not this suit, by the way, but I said, hey, there's no pants in these pockets. What's up with that? And the tailor looks at me and goes, well, you said you're a banker, right? And I said, well, yeah. He said, well, when have you ever heard of a banker putting his hands in his own pockets before? Okay, it's not really a true story, but so anyway, one of the things I mentioned, I work with the commercial banking groups. We do loans to small business, and typically people think of financing type loans, 3 years in business, profitable, tons of money. You don't really need to borrow money, so we'll give you some money, types of situations. But we certainly try to work with guaranteed type programs and get very unique and creative in our financing structures so we can help those that maybe not meet the traditional kind of role of what we'd finance. One of the programs we work with is called Business Oregon, which is a state program funded by the U.S. Treasury. It's actually part of the 2010 Jobs Act, created the, what's the exact initialisms? It's the State Small Business Fund. Yes, there we go. That's what it is. What was it again? SSBCI, yes. State Small Business Grant. Yes, okay, there it is. I had that earlier, but I didn't want to look at it. So anyway, and so each one of these states create these own departments. Oregon has the Business Oregon, and what they do is provide guaranteed type loan programs and funding for businesses that are creditworthy but may not have the traditional access to capital. So we partner with them to be able to give loans and provide loans to small businesses to help them out with their financing needs, job growth, all those kind of good things. And anyway, so I think this is really cool. For Columbia Bank, we actually are the #1 partner with Business Oregon. Certainly not the only bank, but the #1 partner with Business Oregon in the state of Oregon. And actually nationally, believe it or not, this is a national ranking. In 2014, Columbia Bank ranked #8 on the national list. And that's just in Oregon. We're in Washington, Oregon, and Idaho Bank. But just in Oregon, we ranked 8th and lent over $34 million into the program with a guaranteed support. So that's just in 2 years, actually. So who cares, right? Well, the whole point is, please, if you feel like you have some banking type questions, financing questions, you don't think maybe you meet the traditional mold, we'd love to talk with you. Unlike John, we don't charge by the hour, and no. So please know, we're happy to have a conversation. If you see me or any one of the other Columbia Bank employees, please say hi and enjoy the evening and have a great Thanksgiving and rest of your holiday year. Thanks.
Tough act to follow. I'd like to now introduce Molly Black-Hissong, a new face from Ben Broadband Business. Welcome, Molly.
Good evening. Thrilled to be here. I have to tell you, I get a little bit jolted every time I come into this room. This was my second grade classroom, so it feels a little bit odd drinking a glass of wine in here. But alas, here we are. So with that said, I am thrilled to be a part of Ben Broadband. I am the manager of field marketing, and to be a part of a corporation that invests in this community and continues to invest in small businesses and the growth and development of Central Oregon is something that is just a thrill to be a part of. And we love to be involved with these types of events, and we will continue to do so because we see the growth and the change and the impact that it has. And so thank you for being here, and thank you for continuing to support the community as well. We appreciate it.
Okay, Molly, like second grade, if I catch you visiting during class, I'll have you move up to the front. So I'd like to now just acknowledge the EDCO staff. This group has done just amazing things in our community, including in this last month, the Ben Venture Conference, and also the Civil War Auction Rally, which was a breakout success, if I do say so myself. If you were there, you saw me throw an almost perfect spiral football. It was pretty impressive, actually. So I'd like to introduce you to Robin Sharp, the Bend Area Manager, Aaron Chayette, Operations Manager, Brian Vieira, the Venture Catalyst, Natalie Dent, Marketing and Communications Manager, Matt Sybrant, Key Industry Coordinator, Capriel Foote-Lewis, Sisters Area Manager, Caroline Irvin, Prineville Crook County Area Manager, and the invaluable EDCO interns Ty Kelly, Website Genius, and Cameron Neal, Graphics Guru. Could you all stand, please, for a round of applause? And Roger Lee. Good work, people. And I'd like to invite Roger up for the Director's Minute.
Say we have awesome sponsors, don't we? All the sponsors up here are just fantastic. It really makes Pubtalk an event that we can continue to support and bring to Central Oregon here. So, well, happy Thanksgiving, and thanks for coming today instead of a week from now, which we would normally have our Pubtalk. It's good not to have to work on Thanksgiving, so thanks for all coming out a week early. Well, we're certainly thankful for another great year here at EDCO. New businesses launching, cool companies moving here, and our existing employers leading the way to, again, being the fastest growing in Oregon among all other regions of the state. And in fact, our year-over-year GDP growth, I don't know if you saw an article on this, was 8.3%. That's kind of like China on a good day. 2.5 times the rate of Oregon, and nearly 4 times the national average of 2.2%. So another little interesting fact is, meanwhile, manufacturing employment here in Deschutes County between 2010 and 2014 was up a whopping 26.5%, compared to 9.7 for Oregon and 5.8 for the U.S. So really rocketing, I think, in the areas that EDCO focuses, and I really want to thank our local managers for making that happen. We're also thankful for a very successful BVC. I'm not sure how much it's going to get talked about here tonight, but our first ever fundraiser, as Julie mentioned, was pulled off only 3 weeks after that. And a new partnership, really thanks into a new partnership with another local nonprofit, Boys and Girls Club of Bend. So anybody have a chance to attend the first rally and auction? So thank you very much for supporting that event. That's what makes it all work. So we'll hope to see you next year. Go Beavs. So let's slip that in. Had to apologize to our speaker today about that. So, and then last, but you were a platypus before. So, and lastly, it seems that change is the only constant here at EDCO, maybe for our region in general. But I'd like to now publicly thank Robin Sharp, our manager here in Bend, for her significant contributions over the past 2 years. As a local manager in our region's largest city, she literally has hundreds of local companies to keep track of, along with a steady stream of recruitment and relocation projects. So her work really represents a large part of our overall operations. I want to recognize her this evening because it will be her last Pub Talk as an EDCO employee. Robin will be moving to Flagstaff, Arizona to take a role as Senior Associate Athletics Director for Northern Arizona University. So if those of you who know Robin, so she didn't say this in so many words, but it's a great day it's a bad day for you, but a great day for me. So anybody who knows Robin knows that she's very passionate about college athletics, stemming back to her being a student athlete at OSU and making a run all the way to the Sweet 16. She'll be very much missed on our team and community, and her departure leaves an opportunity for someone else, however, and Mid-Oregon personnel has graciously accepted the search assignment to find her successor. So if you or someone else you know is interested, please contact me or Aaron Chayette or Sam Lambert with Mid-Oregon here in Bend. So we'd love to find a great person to try to fill Robin's shoes. So thank you, and on with the show.
So I'd like to announce EDCO's newest members, and every month when we have Pub Talk, I do this. This is quite a long list this time. Texagon Capital, Pride Staff, Aubrey Glen Golf Club, Deschutes River Conservancy, Eloquent Expression LLC, Bricks Law, Pacific Herbs, Products Sprint, Waggletops, 2M Spaces, Pro CFO, Interior Office Solutions, BuzzTag, and Black Canyon Woodworks. Thank you for joining EDCO. Now, I forgot to do this. You know, I do this every time that we have a second. Wave hi. So I wanted to open our next section. So now we get to the content portion of our evening with the entrepreneurs, and I wanted to dedicate this Pub Talk and these entrepreneurial pitches tonight to Shelley Gunton. Shelley was an extraordinary entrepreneur who died this morning, passed away after a 2-year battle with cancer. And she was a good friend and an ally to many, very successful, and a BVC investor. She never met an entrepreneur that she wouldn't talk to. And I think it's a hallmark of our work together as entrepreneurs that that's what we do. We're generous with each other. I actually have Shelley to thank for being here tonight. And those selfies that I've been taking, I've actually been sending to her while she's been ill, along with a lot of other goofy pictures, I would add. And when I was considering putting my hat in the ring for Cascade Angels, she sent me an email, and it simply said in all caps, "You'd be perfect for this." So I have her to thank for being here tonight. And I imagine that there are a number of people that are here that have been touched by her or received some guidance, because she was an incredibly can-do person. And it takes all of us to pull this off. We're trying to do something pretty extraordinary, and she was an extraordinary person, and I feel very privileged having had the chance to know her. So I wanted to dedicate tonight to her. And speaking of amazing entrepreneurs, we have several on the docket tonight to hear from about their ideas and their innovations and their ways of solving problems. And I think that that is a hallmark of these Pub Talks, that we actually get to see people who have these great ideas and then turn them into something amazing. So I want to shift us into that schedule right now. I want to introduce Nikki Singlab, the founder of Hideaway and the product guy with an engineering and business background that lives to launch new products into the world. Let's hear about his latest. Nikki?
Thank you, Royal. I didn't have a chance to look up my rap name, but I will when I get home. You guys hear me okay? And thanks to Edco for having me, and to Brian for giving me a push up here. It's an honor and quite humbling to be here in this large crowd. As she said, my name's Nikki Singlab. I live here in Bend. My wife and I moved here about 11 years ago to take advantage of what we all love. Lots of trails, no crowds, great weather, and now we have kids, so we love how safe a community, good schools, and a brewery on every corner. Doesn't help, or doesn't hurt. And now with the startup, I'm really starting to experience this great, knowledgeable, experienced, and welcoming business community, and feel lucky to be a part of it, so thank you. As you mentioned, I'm a product guy, which means I design, develop, and manage product lines, mainly consumer products in a variety of industries. I've been doing this for almost 20 years, and the last 6 years I've been on my own as a freelancer. My background's in mechanical engineering and an MBA that's helping me understand all aspects of a product launch. And those of you who know me personally know I don't like waste. Wasted time, wasted space, and especially disposable waste. Here's something I learned recently, and I hope you can appreciate the magnitude of the problem. In just 60 seconds here in the US, consumers, all of us, throw away 90,000 disposable plastic bottles. That's every minute just in the US. That equates to 30 million tons of plastic waste each year. And we do recycle, which is great intention, but only 1 in 5 of those bottles are actually recycled or upcycled into new products. And that ratio is going down every year. Now, a variety of beverages come in these plastic bottles, but what really bothers me is bottled water. I just don't get it. It's water, yet it costs 2,000 times more than tap water, and it's actually less regulated. And if any of you have bought bottled water at an airport recently, you know it's not cheap, so something's going on. I'm totally confused by this global culture of disposable convenience, but I'm not the only one. Consumers these days are getting it and looking for smarter ways to hydrate while on the go. Reusable bottle use is up, obviously. Those of you that know Camelback know they're not a backpack company anymore. They do bottles. And we've all seen what Hydro Flask has grown recently. But we want a reusable bottle with us all the time, but are annoyed at bottles that can be bulky, heavy, or loud. We're looking for something more convenient if it's with us all the time, but still needs to be durable, safe, and easy to clean. So I travel a lot for work. And a few years ago, I was at TSA and had an issue with a bottle, and we've all had that experience, I think, and had to buy bottled water on the other side, and I did refill it all week and recycled it at the end, don't worry. And, but it really got to me, and so on the flight home, I envisioned this collapsible bottle that I was going to go buy and use and keep with me all the time. Oh, thank you. Here it is. And when I landed, I Googled it. I went on Amazon and realized it didn't exist, and I had it fully fleshed out in my head. So I started tinkering with it, started designing with it, and 3 years later, just last week, we just finished our first production of Hideaway, a bottle that fits in your back pocket. So as you can see, it expands and collapses really easily. When you take off the lid, you can fill it with ice. It's easy to clean. When the lid is on, it's completely watertight, and all the materials are food grade, so it's odor, taste, and BPA free, and top rack dishwasher safe. So right now it comes in 2 sizes and 6 colors, and you can feel free to come and check them out up here afterwards. The large is $19.95. The small is $14.95. And that gives a 50% margin for wholesale accounts and a 4 times margin stack for over our landed production costs. And my pricing goal was really to keep this sub $20 to be competitive with what's out there. And maybe some of you have tried some other foldable bottles, bladders out there, and I did too. I just found them hard to use, hard to clean. They tip over easily. Some you have to use 2 hands to drink out of, don't fit in cup holders. They're just weird. And so I thought this design would solve all those issues and just be very easy to use. And actually, it ends up being more compact than what else is out there. As you can see, packaging is ready for retail. It's peg hook friendly. You can fit 6 on a 6-inch peg, which is really efficient for merchandising and for ocean transport. You can fit a ton on a container, that's for sure. And now we're working on merchandising displays for retail assortments, much better than this guy. So that's about it on the product. But who's the customer of Hideaway? Well, we've found 3 market segments that we're going to target, and we found that through our focus group testing and through crowdfunding. Frequent flyers, number 1, so that's business travel and adventure travel. Anytime you mention TSA convenience, people just get it. There's active families, so if you're running to the gym at lunch or going to yoga class, or if you have kids packing a lunchbox or in a diaper bag, basically leave one in every bag and you'll never need to buy bottled water again. And number 3, outdoor adventure, hiking, camping, boating, we get it here. Anytime space is at a premium. So now, beyond the product, and it is one product, what is our brand strategy? Well, obviously, we're going to take the momentum that we have and the global reach with this product and really build a brand centered on health, convenience, and sustainability. We have a first mover advantage with this product. The design is patent pending. The name is trademarked in several countries. It's a really competitive price point, and we're targeting really widespread retail distribution in those target markets I just mentioned. Into the future, we want to grow sales and brand awareness through line extensions, so that's new colors, new sizes, additional features, and new categories based on customer needs. And finally, connecting with customers all over the globe through social media, sponsored events, and givebacks. For instance, we are already a 1% for the Planet member, which means 1% of our revenues go to organizations and nonprofits that are helping to cut down on all the plastic waste we are generating. And actually, if you go on our Facebook page, we have a survey where you can help vote on who gets our funds for this year and learn a little bit more about what they're doing, which is pretty cool. I want to talk about a few wins to date. 2015 has been an amazing year for me. What started out as a side project at the beginning of the year turned into something way bigger, definitely a full-time job. In May, we concluded our Kickstarter crowdfunding campaign, and it ended up being the 600th most funded of all time, which was the top 0.7% out of the 300,000 campaigns that have launched on Kickstarter. We were able to raise $263,000 in 32 days. Thanks. Cheers. And just importantly, we connected with 6,000 fans and future customers. It's amazing to watch something go viral. It really is. And since then, we've had over 1,600 pre-orders on our website, despite a minimal marketing push, and great interest from some key retail accounts like REI, Cabela's, LL Bean, Nordstrom's, The Container Store, Amazon, and the Grommet. And to meet with these folks and find some more, we're going to a couple of trade shows this spring, the Outdoor Retailer Show in January and the Houseware Show in March, which I'm looking forward to. Also exciting are the opportunities ahead. I think this product has a huge global reach. In fact, 40% of our Kickstarter backers were from outside the US. It was really interesting. The water bottle and drinkware categories are growing fast, and actually collapsible hydration is a growing subcategory and gaining its own shelf space and end caps. And you can see that in local stores like our REI and Mountain Supply in town. The big opportunity for me, as you know, is a real opportunity to change the trend of disposable plastic bottle use, and start to actually reduce our waste streams. So how are we going to accomplish this? Why am I here? Well, the Kickstarter funds allowed me to purchase tooling, start production, fulfill all the Kickstarter rewards, and build an entire purchase order of inventory to start selling. So that's the key thing right now, is selling this inventory, and I'm looking for a partner with experience in high volume retail to balance the skill sets I have to really accomplish this and build a global brand. Of course, we'll need to build a local workforce and resources to invest in R&D. I just got back from traveling all over Asia and saw the limitations of clean water for travelers all over the world, and already starting to research ways to integrate filtration and UV technology into a product line that allows us to safely and conveniently drink anywhere in the world. So in closing, just wanted to say thank you, and you can still pre-order for Christmas delivery on our website, hideawaybottle.com. There's cards up here. Thank you.
Just stay up here with me. So we have a few minutes for questions. Questions, David?
How large of a social network did you have before you did your Kickstarter campaign?
How large of a social network did you have before you started your Kickstarter campaign?
Good question. Personally, it was really small. And I did a campaign actually last year that helped me understand it. I set a goal that was very high and we didn't hit it, but used the learning from there and the network that I gained from that to really expand it. There's some ways to do the crowdfunding that allow you to really bring that social network in and get the Kickstarter metrics going, and that's what we did. We were able to fund on the first day.
Great. Yes.
I was curious where the product's made.
Where is the product made?
We have several factories in South China that are producing the product, and actually our first production is now on the water and in the air heading here, so we'll be shipping out in the next 2 weeks to, 10,000 customers all over the world in the next couple of weeks.
Is there a question over here on the right? Do you have a patent?
Yes, it's patent pending.
Other questions? Yes.
Are they being sold locally?
Are they being sold locally?
Great question. As I said, our first production's on its way here, so yes, they will. Obvious places like Mountain Supply and Pine Mountain Sports and Newport Market and various gift shops around town. They will be available, and we'll put a store finder on the website. We basically sold out our 2015 inventory with all these pre-orders. So that's the best way to do it right now, is online. And then starting in January, we'll have more inventory to fulfill all these stores. Thank you.
What's your favorite color?
There's a teal color coming out in January that's not up here.
I'm waiting for that. Roger?
So you've obviously got some inventory to sell. What happens after that? Are you looking for capital sources, or is that able to fund that next wave of inventory?
What happens after you sell that out? Are you looking for capital? You have to be careful how you answer that question because of general institution. Specifics. Yeah, I would say no specifics. Say if somebody wants to know something.
Yes.
Thanks. Bye. Being an MC is a multifaceted experience. Okay, let's move on to Justin Johnson, CEO of Lead Method, to explain how their software helps companies who sell through independent reps and distributors improve communication and collaboration and increase revenue. Justin.
Thanks, Julie. I'm always jealous of these product companies because they have all this swag, and maybe I can borrow a bottle to hold up. Okay. Thanks again, Justin Johnson, founder and CEO of Lead Method. Appreciate everybody that puts this on. I've been in the audience many a times, but Brian dragged me up this time, so I appreciate the opportunity to brag about the company and, most importantly, the people that helped me build it, which is, as any CEO understands, that's the base for everything. So Justin Johnson, founder and CEO of Lead Method. We are based here in Bend. We're a company, a sales lead management company that works with distributors and manufacturers. We help companies, manufacturers specifically, that sell through these independent reps and distributors better understand their sales operations, track leads and opportunities throughout the funnel and the pipeline, and ultimately make more money. So that's always a good thing. So we've been doing this for about 2 years now. We've spent the first 9 months building the product and really getting a good, strong product market fit. My background is in software product management, so that's sort of the skill set. And then we spent the last 12 months really selling it. And I'm happy to say things have gone really well. We've gotten some incredible traction. And for those of you that know enterprise software, it's not easy to do. And so we have about a couple dozen clients now, really strong revenue. We're looking at sort of profitability at later Q1 of next year from our projections. We successfully closed a really nice seed round of nearly $400,000 just recently from Cascade Angels. Thanks, Julie. Great group. And Portland Seed Fund and some other really high-profile investors. And so we're really excited about that. It gives us a ton of just forward movement with a lot of different contacts in those areas. We currently have 6 employees, incredible employees. I think everything to them. Some here in Bend and some on the East Coast, mostly our sales folks. But we're looking to hire 3 additional folks here recently, a couple salespeople here in Bend as well as developers. So we'll post that on Startup Bend and some other local job boards. So yeah, that's really what we've done so far. We're really excited about where we've been, and for enterprise software, we've made a really good landing on some of this opportunity. So what does all this mean? Why is it important? What is lead method? I'm going to pick on Mr. Vieira here for a second since he got me up here, but let's assume that Brian is a vice president of sales at a manufacturing company, okay? And all of you are these independent reps and distributors that he sells for. He makes a product, a very good product, and he relies on all of you to sell this product. And he values the relationship because you guys have the knowledge of the local market, you know, the laws, the regulations, and all sorts of things around that. And he's spending millions of dollars to support you with leads and opportunities so you can increase your sales and thus increase his sales. But the challenge here is that these independent reps and distributors are separate companies. And Brian runs that manufacturing company, and he's sending leads down to you, and he doesn't understand if these leads are being followed up on. He doesn't understand how fast they're being followed up on. And so in a sense, he's sending these leads into a black hole and not understanding what's going on. He also can't understand his pipeline. And we're talking about companies like 3M, DuPont, Honeywell, Fuji Electric, as well as 15,000 other companies in sort of the mid-market space that just can't understand what's going on with their sales operations. So imagining being in that position is a very tough spot to grow a business or to do much with it at all. So that's the big challenge. And that's what we set out to solve. There isn't anybody else in the world that we know of right now that's doing it. There's a lot of companies that are customer relationship management software products that I'm sure you use if you're in the sales capacity often, but they just don't touch what we're doing. And so that's really what we're doing. And I'm happy to say we've solved the problem in a big way. Our clients are seeing huge results. But essentially what we do is tie these distributors and independent reps with the manufacturer. We give them a platform, a web-based software platform to communicate, to collaborate, and to ultimately sell more deals. The manufacturer is able, Brian and his manufacturing team, there he is, is able to understand if these leads are being followed up on, if they're being contacted, and he understands everything that's going on throughout the sales process. And we're giving the distributor the tools to provide Brian and his team at the manufacturing business the feedback on what's going on in the sales operations. And so it's worked, and it's worked in a big way. Our clients right now are reporting back 100% increase in lead contact rate. So they're not losing those huge opportunities they were prior. A 500% increase in feedback from the distributor. So the distributor's telling them if leads have turned into opportunities or turned into quotes, and they didn't have that information before. So there's a huge advantage there. And ultimately, they're telling us at between a 10 and 20% increase in overall revenue. So for a $100 million business, which is really our target, and they're increasing business by 20% in just 6 months, we have a lot of conversations around the office about increasing prices. So that's been a good thing. So how do we do this? A lot of my background, and we spent that 9 months really digging in and researching this problem that nobody's solved yet for some of these major corporations. And you don't have to understand manufacturing. You don't have to understand sales to understand that these billion-dollar companies are spending millions of dollars every single month to generate leads, and they don't know anything about what's happening. And so it's a very glaring problem. The thing that we did in building the software and why it's worked so well is that we simplified it in a big way. And so, for example, when a distributor is accepting a lead and reporting back on what's going on, we're not asking them to log into software and to learn software. We've all used software out there. It's mind-blowing sometimes that people are producing software that takes a month to learn how to use. And so here's an example of what we've built. We talk often when we build our product that we don't want our users to learn software. We want them to just engage and know what to do. And so when a distributor is sent a lead, for example, here's my prop, we ask them on their smartphone, on their tablet, or their computer to accept the lead with a simple Facebook-like thumbs up or thumbs down. Like, everybody knows that. And that is the start to our software. And at that point, if it's an opportunity, we guide them through a process to collect the additional details. And so that's the foundation of how we built this and how we continue to build software and roll with it. And it's an eye-opening experience for some of these sales organizations that are used to using Salesforce or some of the other, CRM products that are out there. So what does this market look like? We're seeing about 15,000 companies in the U.S. alone that could use us, and that's about a $500 million total addressable market. So it's a big one, and we're moving as fast and as hard as we can to accomplish that. About 5 times that globally. As some of you know, Europe is a huge manufacturing space, especially Germany. So we're moving fast, and we're looking forward to future sort of what's ahead. What's the plan? We have a lot of folks that we've talked to in the last 9 months, big companies, mid-sized companies. So we're looking to close this Q4 buying decision. A lot of these enterprise software decisions are made in Q4, so we're going to close those out, move into Q1, and really, edging into profitability in a really significant move in the market, and then see where it goes from there, either Series A or continue to go. And why is this so interesting? Well, sales and marketing software is about as red hot as any market is right now, with Marketo, Salesforce, HubSpot, some of these tools that you've probably heard of. And so we want to take advantage of that energy and that momentum and be in place for a potential exit or something in the future. So we're excited, have a great team. We're hiring more people, and we're doing it here in Bend, which is exciting. And, just sort of, as Julie mentioned, we're talking about an ask here. I think the support that you all bring as business and city leaders is important. We all chose to build our business, at least the startup and the entrepreneurs here. We chose to grow and build our business here, and it's a phenomenal quality of life. But we need to attract more talent, right? A lot of our employees come from Portland, they come from Seattle, they come from the East Coast, and growth is a good thing for us, right? And so I encourage us all to sort of steer the direction we're going, and I appreciate all your efforts in town to help us out. So thank you.
Questions from the audience? Oh, there we go. Yeah.
I had a couple questions. One, have you gotten analyst coverage yet? Has Gartner interviewed you?
Have you gotten analyst coverage yet? Has Gartner interviewed you?
We haven't, but we look forward to that day. There's a couple things that we're doing that are really interesting from the reporting perspective. We are one of the first companies that understands the channel. There's a lot of reports and analysts that are interested in what sales organizations that are doing that sell direct, right? You've got a sales team, and what's the performance and some of the behaviors there. We're really understanding what this channel of distributors is doing and have a mountain of data to work with. So that's going to be a really interesting thing from the analyst perspective when they can sell those reports and really get involved.
Is it basically size? They want to see more top line before they...
Yeah, I would like to see another year of growth before we kind of approach those guys. There's a lot of... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, and just to be clear, if they were to put you in a software category, what would it be? Would it be Salesforce or CRM or some other category?
Yeah, it's a little bit more on the sort of channel management, channel lead management software platforms. There's a few of them out there that don't do what we do, but they skirt the areas. But we are defining a bit of a new segment here.
Yeah, go ahead.
How do the sales reps like using it?
How do the sales reps like using it, Justin?
Sure. So to clarify, the sales reps are the distributor salespeople. It's a great question. It kind of leads into another section here, but we've had some incredible feedback from them because it's been so easy to use. In fact, they've come back to us now and they're asking us, because they're using software, other CRM products, and they're saying, what you've built here is really the foundation of something great. The things that we use now, our salespeople complain about it all the time, right? So can we use the fundamentals that you've built to deploy something for the distributors? And it's a really interesting strategy for sales growth because those distributors are turning into our sales agents, and they're going to the 30 other manufacturers that they rep for and asking them to buy our software, and they want us to build one for them too. And so there's our competitive advantage wedge when we start to own this ecosystem around manufacturers and all their distributors. So thank you for the question.
Why wouldn't they just use something like Salesforce?
Salesforce fundamentally and all the other CRM products are a commodity anymore. There's thousands of them. Some cost $10 a month and some like Salesforce are $250 a month. They were fundamentally built for inside sales teams. So you've got a sales manager and their sales team is in the same office or spread out, but they're employees. And you can sometimes even garnish wages if they're not using the system to do the work. When you ask a distributor, and all our customers don't even try to use Salesforce because they understand the complexity and what's there, you can run your entire business off Salesforce. But it doesn't do what we do, which is track the fundamental feedback and information in a really, really light touch environment that you engage a third-party company to use. And so that's fundamentally what's going on there. Sorry, I want to comment on that really quick. But we integrate with all other sales and marketing software out there. We have a strong integration with Salesforce, Microsoft Dynamics, HubSpot, all these different things. So we do what we do, and they can manage customers in another space.
What's your revenue model look like? You're helping both the manufacturer and distributor both. What's that look like? I mean, is it recurring revenue?
What's your revenue model, and is it recurring revenue?
Sure. We're a typical SaaS model for software, so we have a monthly subscription. There's a one-time setup fee. We are charging right now the manufacturer, and they're deploying the features off to their distributors. And our pricing is anywhere from $2,500 to we're up in the $6,000 a month range now for some of these larger companies. But we're creeping it up quickly.
One more quick question from you in the glasses. Yeah.
Your product engineering, did you guys do that in-house, or did you go outside to have it built? And if you went outside, was it here or offshore?
Great question. It's been a combination of a lot of different things. Because my whole background, almost 20 years of software product management, I know how to build software. So I initially leveraged a team in Romania to build it, and we've had people in Bend build it, and we also have sort of an office in Poland. So it's a combination of a lot of things. And if I could have everybody in Bend, I would do it. But as everybody knows in this room, software developers are far and far between in this town, and especially when you're talking about lots of different programming languages. So we do what we need to do to make it work.
Thanks, Justin. We're out of time for questions. Appreciate it. Good job. So I'd now like to introduce Rob Little, the founder and CEO of Cairn, the subscription box company for the outdoor industry. Rob is no rookie. He presented at Pubtalk in 2014, took the BVC stage later that year as an early stage finalist, and returned in 2015 to pitch the BVC investors as a growth stage semifinalist, all before, and I got to be there for this in Portland. It was just really awesome to have a Bend company win the OEN's Tom Hulse Awards in Portland development stage category last month. So please join me in welcoming and congratulating Rob Little. Rob?
Thanks, Julie. It's a pleasure to be back up here, and hard to believe that it's been a year and a half now since I first pitched to this group. A lot's happened in that year and a half. I'm excited to share some of those details with you. Before I do, though, for those of you in the room that haven't heard of Cairn, just a brief background on our business. Cairn is changing the way that consumers and outdoor brands interact. We have built a community of loyal and engaged outdoor enthusiasts who are passionate about product and new ideas. And we are building a revenue background or backbone for this business that's based on a subscription model. Many of you are familiar with Wine of the Month clubs or Fruit of the Month clubs. Take that concept and apply it to the outdoor industry. We curate the latest gear, apparel, food and energy products, and skincare products, and deliver them to your door on a monthly basis. We have thousands of customers around the United States, around the globe, who are excited to receive our curated boxes on a monthly basis. And while that's what we do on the surface, there's a lot more to this business under the covers, specifically in the form of data. Our customers are reviewing product at outstanding rates. We take that data, we blend it with their background information, who they are and what they like to do, and we provide details back to the manufacturers, to the brands in the outdoor industry, and give them access for the first time on who their target market is, on how they're responding to the product, to help them build their marketing campaigns, to develop new product types, and to address customer service issues. The adoption of this business in the industry has been fun to watch and really time-consuming. So some updates for you guys on what we've done in the last year and a half, specifically since we first pitched here in this room. I'm proud to say that in 2015, we will close the year having shipped over 100,000 boxes around the United States and around the world. We'll do over $2.5 million in revenue this year. We'll collect over 150,000 product reviews and deliver curated reports back to over 100 brands in the outdoor industry. And we're working with some of the biggest and strongest names in the industry and some of the brightest and most impressive up-and-coming businesses in this industry. It's a fun playground to operate in on a regular basis. But what's new and what's coming up? I'm excited to announce that 2 weeks ago we launched a service called Obsidian. Obsidian is a quarterly service playing off of our original model. So 4 times a year, we'll deliver a box for $200 a quarter to you of the latest and greatest outdoor products that allow us to reach brands and price points or sizes of product that we haven't been able to work with at our $25 a month product. The product has been received very well in the industry so far. We curated enough boxes to last through the holidays. At least we thought. We'll be sold out before Thanksgiving on Obsidian. Our team, what I'm most proud of with this business, we just hired our 7th employee here in Bend, all full-time. And while I promise not to embarrass them here this evening, I'd encourage you to grab Kevin or Bill or Brent or Ashley or Jennifer or our latest employee, Megan, and introduce yourselves. For some of them, welcome them to Bend. For some of them, welcome them to just Cairn, as many of them have been here in Bend for a while. And feel free to ask them if they enjoy their job. If they say no, feel free to come back and talk to me about it. So what does 2016 look like for us? We are anticipating continued growth, and we are prepping for it. Our relationships with the brands in the outdoor industry couldn't be stronger, in our opinion. We've demonstrated our capacity to introduce them to new products, introduce them to new consumers, and educate them on how they're doing in the marketplace. And for that, they're responding very well. We're building out our IT infrastructure. We're prepping for growth from a team perspective and looking at how we accelerate through 2016, and hopefully at some point stand up here and tell you guys that we've shipped 1 million boxes. And I understand that businesses that come up here are allowed to ask for favors from the audience. So in closing, the one request that I have from you all, I'm sure that you all have friends that enjoy the outdoor industry, and Christmas is coming up. So consider our product as a gift for those that you know that enjoy the outdoors. Thank you for your time.
Can you stack obsidian in a cairn? Sorry, okay. Let's have a real question. It doesn't seem like you could, does it? Too slippery. Yes, back there in the center. How do you decide on the products you offer your subscribers? Was that the question? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, good question, and probably the best part of this business, or the most exciting part of the business. The outdoor industry is ripe for innovation. There's new product coming out all the time. There's a couple of sources that we use for our product. First, the Outdoor Retailer Trade Show, which happens twice a year in Salt Lake City, has a confluence of the outdoor brands, and it's a wonderful place for us to engage with them, see what's coming out in the next 12 months, and build relationships. We're also to the point where a lot of the brands that we work with come to us. They see the impact that we've had. They talk to other brands, and many of them are our customers. They want to receive the boxes that we're curating themselves. And so responding to those requests are our two primary channels today.
And in the very back in the corner?
So do you think that you will stock Hideaway in your Karen?
Will you stock Hideaway in your Karen box?
We'd love to. No, I've been impressed with Nikki for the last year. He and I talked when we were both launching our businesses, and I'm excited to feature him at some point in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. David?
I know that your first box is a small box. How big is your Obsidian box?
Oh yeah, the first box is a small box. Is the Obsidian box bigger?
It is bigger. It's bigger. It's bigger than a bread box. Picture 2 shoe boxes. We've got the flexibility to change our box size every month. In fact, for our original service, we have 5 different sizes of boxes that we use, and we adjust it based on the product that's inside. We'll do the same with Obsidian, but the initial Obsidian box is yay big.
You could fit a debooter.
That's a real question.
A mini debooter. Any questions from the back? Anything further? Yes, Wendy.
Hi, Rob. I have a question, since you are collecting so much data about your subscribers. Is there one compelling theme to who is subscribing to Karen?
Is there one compelling theme to who is subscribing to Karen?
Yeah, thanks for the question, Wendy. So to maybe our brand's surprise, millennials are our strongest consumers. Over half of our customers are in their 20s and early 30s. And that's the hardest demographic for the outdoor industry to connect with because they're not traditional in how they behave. But they're passionate about our service, and it's provided a great bridge for the brands in the outdoor industry.
Yeah, that's great. I'm sorry we're out of time. But you can ask Rob your question offline. Yeah. Thank you so much, Rob. Appreciate it. So I'd now like to welcome our keynote speaker, Nathan Lilligard, who's currently a program manager and instructor at the Lundquist Center for Entrepreneurship at the University of Oregon. Nathan will cover U of O innovation and entrepreneurship, including U of O's spin-out companies and programs that the university offers to encourage startups and help them understand the capital landscape around the region. And might I just close by saying, go Ducks.
I'll just echo what Rob said as someone who teaches at the University of Oregon. Yeah, millennials don't behave in any real logical way that I've figured out yet. It is nice to talk to a group of people who don't have their laptops up or their smartphones or their iPads out. So thank you for that. I know I've got your attention. I'm not really sure that I've got their attention when I'm teaching at the college. As Julie said, my name is Nathan Lilligard. I'm the program manager at the Lundquist Center for Entrepreneurship, which is a division inside the Lundquist College of Business. And if that's slightly confusing, it's because in 1989, Charles Lundquist gave $1 million to the U of O to start an entrepreneurship center. Then the dean, smelling blood in the water, stuck with him and got him to give $10 million a few years later to name the whole school after him. So that's how that all came to be. And I'm excited to say that we were, the Lundquist Center, one of the earliest collegiate centers for entrepreneurship in the country. 25 years ago, if you can think back to 1989, entrepreneurship was a very different ballgame, and it's exciting to be there. We had a big celebration last year to talk about our 25th anniversary, and I'm excited to lead us into the next 25 years. I am a former Bend resident. I lived here from 1999 to 2004 after I finished my undergraduate education in 1998 at U of O. I wanted to work in the software industry. But I also wanted to be a ski bum. I tried the ski bum thing first. I moved to Sun Valley. I got a job as a busboy, and then I did the math, and I wasn't going to be able to do that. So I moved back to Salem, where my dad was living, looked for jobs, and just drove my dad crazy because I never filled out any job applications. He wanted me to go and get an application and put it in. I said, no, Dad, the internet. That's how we do it these days. And I got lucky enough to land a job here in Bend at a company called Orcom Solutions. Some of you may have heard of them. In the late 90s, they were kind of the only one of the few technology companies in town. I had a great time working for them, had 5 years of experience working under some amazing people. Had some great parties on the deck off of Colorado. Watched the park being built on Farewell Bend. Just great time. But I figured I needed to do something different. I went back to Oregon, get my MBA, and as I did that, I got into entrepreneurship. And in 2006, I started a company called Florogenics. That company was a genomic research spin out of U of O, so we licensed the technology. I got the scientists on board, et cetera. I pitched here at the Bend Venture Conference in 2007. Did not win, but y'all picked Elemental Technologies that year, which was a very smart decision. I ran that company, raised about $1 million, got it to profitability, and then this opportunity came up in 2012, so this is what I'm doing today. So I call myself an entrepreneur in recovery, and I teach students how to be entrepreneurs. I'll talk a little bit about that. So I'm going to talk about 3 things, sort of innovation at the U of O, inspiring students and helping them launch. So let's talk first a little bit about innovation. I talk about 2 different types of innovation at the university. So first there's big I innovation, which is the classic thing that you think of when you think of university spin-outs, right? Professor invents something, has millions of dollars research, invested in doing a thing, it's new and different, it's technology, and then they start a company, they spin out of the university, and they grow big, and everybody wins. That's big I innovation. We've had some great success stories from U of O in that area. And then there's also little I innovation, which includes things like picky bars and silly sunglasses and sillier hats. And these things happen because students and people have a passion for doing something different. And I love working with those students because they come at it with energy and excitement, and they have no idea what the hell they're getting into, but it's fun to sort of steer them in the right direction. So big I innovation at U of O, there's a couple of companies you may have heard of. Electrical Geodesics is a company that launched in the early 90s. They build a net for putting on people's head to gather brainwave information. And if you can go back to the early and mid 90s, they basically could gather more data than computers could process back then. So after 20 years of innovation, they ended up building an amazing product that's used all over the world, and they went public on the London Stock Exchange in 2014 for about $14 million. Huge success story, over 100 employees in Eugene. Very, very cool company to point at as something that's been successful out of U of O. I want to call your attention to Mito Sciences, which you may have never heard of, but a local success story, Amplion. You may know John Audette, their CEO. He was CEO of Mito Sciences when they sold to Abcam, gave him some great experience that he then leveraged to come over here. And he'd actually been living here and then commuting to Eugene, which sounds terrible to do that every week for like your whole life. So he had been doing that. He landed here in Bend, and I think Amplion's it's a Bend Venture recipient, right? Cascade Angels invest. Yeah, it's going to be great. Love John. Great company. They're going to do some really cool stuff. Other things that have come out of U of O, there's a company called Perpetua Power, which you may have never heard of, but they make a battery that lasts forever. No kidding. They make a battery that lasts forever. It harnesses the difference in temperature between surfaces, so think of outside of a ski jacket, inside of a ski jacket, and they can generate electricity based on that difference of temperature. Now, right now they make little pucks that fit on like shipping containers and wireless sensors and stuff, but I know they're working on some wearable technology, and you can just imagine where the ability to generate electricity from your body heat in a jacket could go. So they could be a big thing. I had my company, Florogenics. We did okay. We're still surviving. Company's growing, steadily profitable. And then there's a company called Nemometrics, which many of you may have heard of from this year's Bend Venture Conference. Great story there. 2 professors that have been at U of O for, I want to say, almost 30 years that they had been there together, Sean and Janice. world-renowned researcher in the field of C. elegans, which are worms, little worms. They knew more about worms than anybody in the world, and they had developed this little method that could sort of gather data about worms. Turns out that's pretty important if you're doing drug discovery and you want to get things to market fast. So I helped them when they were forming that company sort of figure out what business was, because they said, we're professors, we have no idea what business is. And they've now done really well. They got a great CEO, and I think they're going to be really successful. So congrats to all of you who are supporting them, because I think that'll be smart. So that's the big I innovation. Talk a little bit about little I innovation. And I want to talk first about picky bars. Who here knows about picky bars? Right? Thank good. So Jesse Thomas, co-founder and CEO of Picky Bars. He's a duck. He's also a Stanford engineer, but we'll just write that off. But he's a duck, and he went through our program. He was a member of the Warsaw Sports Marketing MBA program, also took some of the entrepreneurship classes, and he needed a bar that didn't mess with his stomach. So his wife came up with this, with their recipe, and they started making it in their house in Springfield. And then he decided he wanted to move back to Bend and be a professional triathlete and run an energy bar company. And Jesse's one of those guys that's good at everything, so he's kicking ass at triathlon, and their company's doing great. It's an awesome story, and my favorite quote from Jesse is that, I've got this on video. He said, "If it wasn't for the Lundquist Center for Entrepreneurship, I wouldn't be here doing what I'm doing today." So thank you, Jesse. Awesome guy. Another one. So I have to do this. So these sunglasses look pretty silly, yeah? So in 2010, I think about it was about then, some MBAs and a local guy who had a replacement lens sunglass company got together. And they said, it was a big duck, ducks were kind of a big deal back then. And people were into sort of spirit wear, and they said, nobody's doing licensed, logoed sunglasses, so why don't we do that? And the Duck store, the U of O bookstore, is really friendly to entrepreneurs, and they help them sort of get that business off the ground by helping them get the licensing, et cetera, et cetera. This company, rebranded called Society 43. They were originally Shady Peeps. It was a trademark lawsuit. That's not neither here nor there. But they sell a ton of branded sunglasses. And they started out with U of O. And I think by the time they sold for a very healthy 8-figure exit just recently, they had over 200 colleges signed up for licensing deals. They had the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball. They were onto something, and they did very well with that. So I never laugh at silly ideas like branded logoed sunglasses, because it can be a big deal. So on that theme, we go with the cowbucker. Anybody explain to me what this is? What's it look like? What kind of hat? If this was a love child of two types of hats, what two types of hats would it be? A fireman's hat? Well, that's close. It's a cowboy hat and a trucker hat, also known as the cowbucker. So I have there's a great story. The founders were in. One of the founders is a practicing architect, has his master's degree in architecture and an MBA. And I had taken him on a trip up to Portland where he had presented his sort of business idea, and it was a sort of infill sustainable real estate development thing. And the group that we put him in front of just tore him apart. They were like, well, here's the reason why that's going to work, and this is stupid, and you don't know what you're doing. And he was beat down. So in my car on the way back to Eugene from Portland, after he had a martini and some food, he said, Nathan, I've got this other thing I'm thinking about working on, and it's a hat. No, tell me more. He's like, well, it's like a cowboy and a trucker hat combined. And I was like, okay. Showed me some designs. I said, that might just be big. You should go with that, right? And he was one of my students, and sure enough, a month later, he had pivoted. He dropped the real estate development thing, and he was designing hats. He got some of his classmates to team up with him. They got the U of O license, the first, and launched last August, October 2014. They launched in the duck store. They sold through their first run of 1,000. They didn't make any money on that because they had to ship them over via air. And then they got the hang of it, right? And now they've got 28 schools. They're growing like crazy. They're talking to people like Metal Militia, Cabela's, NASCAR, things like that where, you could see this being a thing. So, put it on? Oh, okay. All right. And then there's other students. It's nice, isn't it? It kind of keeps the sun out. And the whole genesis was that Chris sort of is missing some hair on top. And so he wanted to play lacrosse and then have good venting and then not get his neck burned. So that's how that came to be. And then the last student venture that I want to talk about is AirFit. I think some of you may have heard of them at Ben Venture this year. That Ty Mangold was one of my students this past year. Super passionate guy. He did everything he could to get credit for developing his business plan while he was doing his MBA. And he's building his prototype, and they're doing their prototyping at a warehouse here in Bend. So if you don't know that, try to get in touch with Ty. I'm sure he would help. He would love local help. So what we do is we try to inspire, and I got to take this off because it's just bugging me. I'm trying to build a hub for student innovation at the University of Oregon, right? We have lots of amazingly talented students. We have a ton of students who come up from California, and they know venture, they know startups, they know how the whole process works, right? Because they grew up in the Bay Area, their parents worked for 5 different companies in 6 years and got stock options, and they know how all that works, right? But they're up in Eugene because they love to be there, they're into the school spirit, et cetera. And so I'm trying to build a hub for them to come together and develop their entrepreneurial, their passions. Also do that with programming, right? We have hackathons. I hired a woman just this year who's my undergraduate program coordinator. We've had our first hackathon with the computer science department. We're building out competitions, do a whole lot of stuff to get students out there talking about their ideas. We have a Civil War Shark Tank event that's happened every year for the last 3 years. It's alternated locations between Corvallis and Eugene. They're up 2-1 on us, but it's going to be in Eugene. Watch it. But they have great ideas up there. I love OSU. So we have competitions. We also host something called the New Venture Championship. It's an event in Portland every April, and it is the world's best MBA level business plan competition. And I don't say it's the world's best because I'm from Oregon. It is. We get feedback from students from all over the world, Hong Kong, Germany, Thailand, South America, and they come to Portland every April to learn about their business opportunity, right? They pitch, they can win money, they win $25,000. The whole competition's endowed by Tim Boyle of Columbia Sportswear. So they win money, they get to keep it, and they do amazing things. And those students actually go on to launch their companies, which is really inspiring, right? Got 25, 30-year-old MBAs going on to do amazing things. So we inspire things, and then we build awareness of the ecosystem. And part of that is coming over to Bend. You guys have an amazing ecosystem here, and it's only gotten better in the last, I'd say, 10 years, where it's really picked up steam. And we bring students to Bend Venture Conference every year. I have students come over here and do internships. We had students at the Bend Polytechnic Academy this last year. So I'm trying to plug in the U of O presence into Bend as much as I can, even though we don't have a campus, right? So we're getting students involved over here, and that's a whole nother discussion. So I want to talk real quickly about Oregon Duck CEOs that you may not know about. So Mike Jones was the leader of a company called MySpace. Anybody here remember MySpace? Yeah. So Mike he's a duck of about my vintage. Ended up working in technology for many years and then led MySpace for a couple of years as they were going through an evolution. He now runs an incubator in the Los Angeles area that starts companies. One of those companies is something called Dollar Shave Club. Any other Dollar Shave Club customers here? Yeah, it's good stuff, isn't it? Yeah, Gator, you need... Oh, he's a Harry's guy. Oh, I won't tell him. Right? Well, Dollar Shave Club will take your business, I'm sure. Anybody here remember Palm Pilots? Palm Pilots, yeah. The former CEO of Palm and Handspring, Ed Culligan, he's a duck. And he's a member of a really active and engaged group of former technology executives down in the Bay Area who support the Ducks and come up and engage with students and sponsor programs. So that's nice. And then we've also got our recent alum that we like to talk about, Miguel McKelvey. Anybody heard of a company called WeWork? WeWork. They take sort of dilapidated commercial buildings and turn them into co-working spaces. They've got over $1 billion valuation. And Miguel is a former U of O basketball player and architecture student who's chief creative officer there and sort of the leader of their effort to bring co-working spaces to the rest of the world. They built an amazing facility in Portland at the old, I think it's the federal building, look it up. It's awesome. So we also help companies launch. We have a program called the Rainmaker Seed Fund, which gives promising startup ideas a $5,000 grant, no equity, just $5,000 to go out and start a company, make some milestones. That's due to the generous support of a man named Paul Troiano. He did a company called Rumblefish. He got some help from some professors at the U of O Business School when he was getting going, and he decided to give $500,000 back to the school to fund these $5,000 grants, kind of in perpetuity, which is awesome. Our students get to keep the cash they win at business plan competitions, and we also have a University of Oregon Foundation Seed Fund, of which we have a great board of advisors. Dino Vendetti is on our board. Is Dino still here? Can't see him. You all know Dino, I'm sure. We have other investors from all over Oregon and California that are part of that group, and we vet companies like Nemometrics and decide if the foundation is going to invest in them. So U of O Foundation has $1 billion in assets, and so we carved out a little $500,000 chunk that we can put forward to supporting these ideas. So I want to close a little bit by talking about how U of O is very different than our counterparts up the road at Oregon State, right? We don't have an engineering school, and this being Oregon, it's a little weird. We have a medical school all the way up in Portland, so we don't have engineering, we don't have medical, which are usually two of the biggest drivers of startups and licensing out of universities. I would propose that U of O can do things differently, as we kind of always do, by focusing in emerging fields like data visualization, mapping and data relations. The GIS/data visualization program at U of O basically has an open door right into Google and Apple and their mapping divisions. The best students from that program kind of go straight into the world of Google or Apple. So that's awesome. We have green chemistry, we have physics and optics. We've got genomics and bioinformatics. So we do things and we innovate in areas that other institutions aren't necessarily innovating in. And we have a different approach to things. We get over $100 million in research grants that come to the U of O every year. And we've got a really good track record of developing licensing income based on those research dollars. So a lot of exciting things happening at the University of Oregon right now. Many of you who follow the U of O may know we have a new president after 3 or 4 and 5 years or something like that. So we've got a good solid foundation on us with a leader. We are looking for a new business school dean. So if there are any retired business school deans in the audience or in town, we'll be looking for one of those. We need to get a good one because Oregon State just got a new business school dean, and she is a rock star. She is all about entrepreneurship and innovation, comes from Arizona State, and it's a little bit scary what she could do if she really puts, her full power to it. So we got to compete. We can't lose there. So it's just an exciting time to be part of the U of O. It's an honor to teach our students. It's great to talk to the students that come over from Bend. I always ask them which high school, and then they look at me like, oh, what does that guy know? So thank you for this opportunity. You have a great community here. I love coming back to visit my family. And no, I don't get sick of the rain. I actually kind of like it. So life is good. Thank you very much. Okay.
How about some hard questions for someone from U of O?
No, I don't know what football uniform they're going to wear this week.
Yeah, Wendy. Wendy, go ahead.
So in May, I was attending an event, the Oregon Outdoor Alliance Beer 30 event.
Okay.
And our keynote speaker that night was the woman who is the dean of the new program that is the new program about outdoor product development.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit
Yes.
Can you tell?
about that?
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about the outdoor
Sure.
product development program?
Sure. So, thank you. So within the Lundquist College of Business, we've got undergraduate programs, a traditional 2-year MBA, executive MBA that's hosted in Portland, and we've got this new program called the Masters in Sports Product Management. I actually teach in that program. I was in Portland teaching my class yesterday for that. It's 37 students from around the world who are focused on learning the business of sport products. So they're learning about design, they're learning about marketing, they're learning about sort of business fundamentals and supply chain and all that stuff. And they're doing that in Portland, which is pretty much the epicenter of the sports product world. It's an awesome group to teach. They've got amazing backgrounds and talents. And so that program has started its first cohort. It's an 18-month program, and they'll be starting their next cohort in the fall. So application process is open, and they're doing the marketing for that. So it's a great thing for people who are interested in getting into the business of sports products to go that route. So thank you, Wendy, for the question. Yes?
A follow-up question real quick, because she mentioned part of that curriculum was placing these students with outdoor-related companies, which we have a wonderful cluster for here in Bend.
Yep.
So have any of those students been placed with any of the Bend?
They are in the process of making those placements now. For scale sort of purposes, you might think these students are probably going to end up at bigger companies to start with, so Columbia's, Nike's, Keen's, et cetera. But it doesn't mean some of them couldn't end up at Hydro Flask and many of the other companies that are over here. So I don't know exactly how that's working, but that process is ongoing right now. And what they're really trying to do is get the students from the U.S. offshore to go do their internships in some place abroad, so maybe where they're making the hideaways, and see how that process works, and then get the international students, which is about a quarter of the class, jobs here in the U.S. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Repeat the question. Yeah.
Yeah, so U of O does have a Bend cohort for the executive MBA program, and I'm a student
Awesome.
in the Bend cohort.
Okay.
So last year was the first year, and so now there are 2 Bend cohorts for the executive MBA program.
So there's 2 Bend cohorts for the executive MBA at U of O here in town.
Yes.
Pretty awesome.
Yes, and through the magic of telecommunications technology, B, is it? Yes. B and her classmates are able to beam in directly into classes that are typically held in Portland. We just upgraded our facilities in Eugene, and we have a awesome classroom with cameras and screens, and it's really kind of freaky because if you put on the little microphone, it follows you around, and if you talk, it like zooms over to you. It's really weird, but I've gotten used to it.
Is there a transporter?
No, but if you can find a transporter to get me to Bend, I'm on that. I'm all over that, because the pass starts to suck here in about a week.
Well, your students are pretty creative, so maybe they'll come up with something like that. I think we're good. Thank you, Nathan.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Go Ducks.
Oh, wait, hang on a minute. I forgot my most important part of my job. Nathan?
Do I get something?
Every keynote that does Pubtalk gets this beautiful tankard, and if you bring it to Pubtalk, we'll fill it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. It's a little bit bigger. We should give these away for that. Okay, so Natalie, we now have this drawing, right? And so you have these red tickets. And Hotel Eastland in Portland has graciously offered a 2-night stay with them in Portland. And Oregon Entrepreneurs Network, not to be outdone, got in on the fun and also offered 2 comp tickets to one of their upcoming Pub Talks events in Portland. So you can go to Portland, go to a Pub Talk. So everybody pull out your ticket and let's see who gets to go to Portland. Thank you to Hotel Eastland and OEN. EDCO and OEN collaborate on a lot of entrepreneurial work, and so this is a great thing. You ready? Okay. Oh, here we go. 9, 6, 8, 1, 7-2.
Yes, baby!
Happy dance. Woohoo! That was a fantastic and enthusiastic response. I wish we had that on film. Good job, guys. Okay. So, I have 3 reminders for you. Four. One, HIDEC presents their annual conference Tuesday, December 8th, 1 to 4 p.m. at the Oxford Hotel, featuring returning keynote speaker Jake Nickel, former CEO of Leatherman Tool Group. It's 55 for HIDEC members and 95 for non-members. Secondly, sadly, this is the last Pub Talk of 2015, but it's been a great one to close our year of Pub Talks. So we'll see you back here in January. Third, I hope that you have a safe and memorable holiday season, and we wish you that from your friends at EDCO. Don't forget to make some New Year's resolutions because I'll be asking you about that when we come back. And my last message is enjoy the moments with each other, and I think there's a lot to be grateful for, and I hope that you'll all have a chance to express that and be kind to one another over these next few months, and I'll see you in the new year, if not before. Safe travels.